Welcome, friends. Today, we are doing another fragrance rotation for the week ending the 21st of August 2022. Outrageous. Doesn't time fly? There's not long left of my summer rotation, friends. Outrageous behaviour. Who would have thunk it? Anyway, this week has been, looking at my choices, has been a good little week actually. I have thoroughly enjoyed wearing what I have worn. The weather has been a little weird. It's been rainy, but it's been humid. There's been bits of sunshine, bits of heat, but not really, The weather's been very up and down. Anyhow, as usual, we will start at the beginning. And on Monday, I wore Eris Sondra by Naomi Goodser. This is probably my favourite iris. And if it's not, it's tied for first with Eris by Hermes. These are fantastic. I think this one might have the edge in quality. Julian Raskin made it, I believe. It is waxy. It is a wet weather fragrance. It's fresh, but buttery. And it's got that kind of mushroomy sort of texture thing going on. It's an absolutely fantastic niche fragrance. This is the type of fragrance that gives me hope for perfume going forward, It's perfumes like this and houses like this that make me think that perfume may have a future after all. And excuse me whilst I hydrate. So, yes, I would try this if you can. A beautiful fragrance. On Tuesday, I decided to wear something completely different. Just reminding myself of it there. And that is Eau de Hermes from my big 200ml bottle. This is the copper cap from the late 90s, early 2000s, I believe. I also have the pewter cap here, a little 25ml one. This is really just for reference. The big bottles of that are insanely priced and becoming much rarer. This is fiery citrus, warm, little bit of like body heat sort of thing. Cumin can come across as warm spice, come across as bio sometimes. Just don't put too much on. And if you can, try and get through that top note because it dries down a little bit, gets away from the bio and becomes more like a warmth or a heat even. And it does feel like you've boiled some citrus, And after a while the lavender comes through and it becomes a lot more sort of, I don't want to use the word palatable. It becomes a lot more sort of acceptable, like as a modern perfume. It's very rich, it's very complex, it's very good. I don't want to say love it, but I'm learning to. I'm coming around to it. Now you might think, why have you bought this fragrance if you didn't love it? This was a while ago anyway that I bought it, earlier this year. And the reason I bought it is because it's a classic, and I'm into this type of fragrance, and it's an older bottle of a classic. So people whose noses I respect really love this stuff, especially Thomas from Early Greek. I listened to his love for this. He's got over a litre of this stuff, I believe. So I trust his nose, and I decided to get to know it, and I'm glad I did. Usually fragrances like this that have stood for over 70 years, there's no smoke without fire, if that makes sense, you know? Quality fragrance. And I am enjoying discovering it for myself. I love the bottle as well. Next up, I have a fragrance that everyone is very familiar with, but it's not a bottle. I have got a bottle, but I've actually forgot I had this little 10 ml, and it is Portrait of a Lady. So I've been trying to wear this from this bottle because there's no reason for us to have both, really, is there? You know what I mean? So that wasn't very clever. I've been using the bottle instead of this, but not to worry. This is rose, patchouli, and a massive amount of Isoe Super. It really is a huge whack of Isoe Super. Apparently it didn't used to be like this. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. It used to be a lot rosier. It used to be a lot more patchouli, a lot denser, but it's been reformulated, and it's been reformulated and filled out and packed out with Isoe Super. I still like it. I still wear it, and it still gets positive attention. You know, people who you ask to smell when you say, oh, smellers, and they're like, oh, that smells really good. And I'm like, yes, it does. And I tell them it's called Portrait of a Lady, and they look at you like you've got two heads, because most people look at me and think, why are you wearing women's fragrances, you big man? But that's their problem, not mine. This is not a woman's fragrance. This is entirely unisex. And just because it's called Portrait of a Lady, do not let that put you off. If you are scared of what other people are going to say to you because of what it's called, then I'm not sure you're in the right game. Anyhow, this is what I wore on Wednesday and enjoyed greatly. Next up, I believe this is the first time I have worn this in anger. And it is a sensational fragrance. I really enjoyed it. This is While Pour Homme Eau de Toilette, the spray. I also have a splash, but this spray is the one I have decided to wear first. I also have a 5ml decant right up here. So in essence, really what I've done is I've done exactly the same thing. There it is. I've done exactly the same thing as I did with Portrait of a Lady. That wasn't very clever, was it? I should really wear that 5ml decant first before it evaporates. How silly. Anyway, this is aromatic citrus, lavender, and musk. It's awesome. It's very hard to find now. I was lucky enough to get my splash of Manly Scents, so shout out to you. But then I mentioned it to Anuj, who promptly found a bottle of a tester, and I thought I'll have that as well because I really like it. You can expect to see this probably in the autumn rotation as well, because I think it can do both. You know, I think it's one of those fragrances where you could wear it in either season, in like almost any season, and it would work. You know, there is no Fragrantica entry for this vintage version, but there is one for the new version, and the new version has nothing to do with this scent. So please bear that in mind if you're ever looking for it. This is the bottle you want if you're looking for the original. And that was While Pour Homme. I don't know if it's Vile or While. I want to say Vile. Anyhow, Friday I wore a classic, a classic Rich Mitch anyway, and a fragrance that everybody is probably aware of. This is a 2016 bottle, and I think I've had this for about 4 or 5 years, probably about 4.5 years. And this is L'Instant de Guerlain pour Homme Eau de Parfum. I absolutely love this stuff. This is signature scent worthy. You could wear this all the time and it wouldn't smell out of place. You could dress it up, dress it down. Performance is very decent. Smell is absolutely gorgeous. Chocolate, citrus, patchouli sort of thing going on. I actually prefer this over the vintage L'Instant de Guerlain Eau Extreme. That smells a little bit more cedary and papery to me, and I'm also convinced that with certain fragrances, if you smell the modern one first, you will like whichever version you smell first. Does that make sense? But I actually genuinely really like this stuff. For a while, I thought what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wear this and then not replace it. And then the more I thought about it, the more I thought, I actually really like this fragrance and I really enjoy wearing it. So why would I not replace it? So I ended up buying 100ml from Canada because you can't get the 100ml over here. You can only get the 50ml, which is just bizarre. The world is bizarre. The fragrance houses are bizarre. I'm bizarre. You're bizarre. Hurrah. Anyway, yesterday, if you will, even if you won't, I decided to wear a niche pickup from this year. You will remember me doing the sample set and deciding which one to buy. I got a 10% off code because I bought the sample set. And I decided to buy Impression Cedarwood Heart by Austens. I have to speak true. This is a little underwhelming. I wish this was better. I wish this brand was better. I wanted this brand to be great. But it smells, I described it to Eugene as smelling very IFF, which is what it is. They went to IFF and said, show us your best ingredients. And they did, and they picked some out and asked some perfumers to make some perfumes based around those ingredients. I believe that's the shtick. This is violet leaf, which is very nice violet leaf, and it's cedar, which is a good quality cedar. But there's something a little bit lacking. There's something that I feel like I've smelled this sort of thing in other places, and that's the problem with these big houses. Their stuff, I don't want to say they're tentacles, but like they have a lot of like fingers and a lot of pies. Like, so you will have smelled this cedar note in other perfumes. You know, you will have smelled this violet leaf in other perfumes, just watered down. These are big doses of good quality materials, but not the best quality materials, and they're not the rarest either. You know, I do like this, but it won't be being replaced when I finish it. The performance isn't great, and looking back on it, those fragrances, if I hadn't got a 10% off code, right, I probably wouldn't have bought this. Those fragrances left a little bit to be desired, and they still do. I will persevere with it, of course. I liked it. I mean, I do like it. I just think it's not... The idea is a good one. I just think it could have been better, you know? Anyhow, last but not least is my scent of the day, a fragrance you will have heard me waxing lyrical about recently, and rightly so. This is awesome, and I've used the best part of half a bottle, and I am scared. I've got a backup, and I've got another couple of backups on the way, and that is Cartier's Roadster, bergamot, mint, giving this almost apple kind of vibe at the top, like the flesh of the apple, not the skin. Juicy bergamot, mint that gives off this kind of like greenness, and then the patchouli, which gives it like this depth and this like almost like a chocolatey kind of patchouli, you know. And it's very, very nice. I must admit, I really love this stuff. This is signature scent worthy for me. But it used to be before it was discontinued, which is a tragedy. But there we are, find them while stocks last. I also have the Sport Flanker, which I am not nearly so keen on. I think when I get the opportunity, I'm probably going to move that on as well. But Cartier Roadster is here to stay for as long as possible. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings to an end this week's fragrance rotation. I hope you have enjoyed this video, as I have making it. As I have enjoyed making it, even. Thank you very much, everyone. See you later.